is actually a TUF finale right here. This is Ultimate Fighter written all over it. And this dude, Ricky Turcios, man, former Dana White Contender Series alum. This is a dude who is like, he was probably the star of TUF 29 because of his eccentric personality. The man is a spiritual yogi type, you know what I'm saying? He does the Hadouken at the end of his fights, you know what I'm saying? That is literally, so he has like multiple nicknames, I guess. One of them is Hadouken, one of them is Pretty Ricky, all those things, man. But the man is a gamer. And I'll tell you, he gave me the Israel Adesanya, you're going to have to kill me because I'm ready to die, you know what I'm saying? Or like Israel Adesanya's like, you can't beat me because I'm ready to die or something like that against Kelvin Gastelum. That's the vibes Ricky Turcios gives me. However, he's fighting a very, very tough opponent who trains at Sick Jitsu with Michael Chiesa and Brady Hiestand. The man is 22 years old. His nickname is Bam Bam. He's a crazy grappler. Listen, man, tell me what you got, just your impressions from your little film study watching on TUF 29 for these two fighters.
Man, we got a dog fight on our hands. That's what I got, man. Ricky Turcios, homeboy, he was one of the ones who were kind of underrated in the beginning, but this dude is an absolute dog of a fighter, man. He's crazy, unorthodox, rangy striker, great wrestling, and he's one of those fighters, kind of how we saw Benny Dariush, where the more he gets hit, the better and the more focused he gets, man. The more you piece up Ricky Turcios, the more he's going to be in the fight and in your face and talking shit and really swinging and banging. Both of his fights versus, I forgot the first dude, and then the second, I forgot both the names. I don't have it right now. They still don't have it on Tapology, like Derek said before. But both of Ricky's fights, 1 and 2 he had on the show, were grudge matches, bro. And the more he got smacked, the better he started doing. They were pointing to the middle of the ring, and it was crazy to see, man. And then Brady Hiestand, again, like I said, we got a dog fight in our hands. Brady's an absolute dog, very scrappy, great wrestling, good chin. He absolutely dominated his tough opponent that I was watching. And man, it was this one's going to be a hell of a fight, especially because Brady Hiestand is training out of like you said, a Sick Jitsu, a crazy camp going forward with Michael Chiesa. This one's going to be fun, man. These two dudes are little spitballs. They are crazy scrappy, and it's going to be a great time, especially if Ricky, the one thing I did notice on Ricky, he does start to wane a little bit. That gas tank does, because he fights with such a passion. He does kind of put a little bit more than he probably should into the effort tank, therefore draining his gas tank. But you can't count this dude out, man. This dude's absolute savage, beginning to the end. Even if he's tired, he's still willing to stand in the middle and trade or go up and down in the washing machine. It doesn't matter. This one's going to be a lot of fun, Derek. What do you think? What was your big takeaways from watching these dudes?
Well, from Ricky Turcios specifically, indomitable spirit, man. I think that's something he even says on the show. That is what the man represents in totality. The man has a truly indomitable will. He is there for blood, guts, and glory, man. Like, he is the definition of like a gladiator-style fighter, in my opinion. However, I agree. He's a little reckless, man. And he does say his style, you ask him, he's not a kickboxer, not a boxer, he's not a wrestler, he's a freestyle fighter. And I like that. However, with that comes a whole set of problems that other people can figure out. And it's because, yeah, you're unorthodox, you're chaotic, so it's hard to kind of figure out fundamentally how to counter some of these things. But then again, you have holes because you're not sticking to one discipline. You're not technical in one style. So with that being said, man, I think Turcio is going to pose a lot of problems in terms of, let me see how I can describe this. Do you know what I mean, AJ, when I say that one person can bring mental issues to the game as opposed to physical issues to the game? Like, Turcios has the will. He has the pointing to the middle of the cage, like, what's up, let's do this. He has the Conor McGregor intangible, right? Where Conor McGregor is able to get in people's heads in the fight, you know what I'm saying? It's not quite, he's just in there, he's waiting for that counter shot, he's waiting for that big left hand or whatever for Conor McGregor. For Turcios, he's more like, all right, I'm going to swing, I'm going to bang, I'm going to draw you into the fight that I want to fight, into the brawl, and then I'm going to sit here, and even when you should be just chilling, probably like pacing out your lead, I'm going to point to the middle and we're going to bang it out, and then that can get the edge, those little things right there. However, for the Brady Hiestand, what stood out to me is the man is uber focused, man, and I think he thrives off of the challenge, because in TUF, he fought the more experienced dude, like one of the most experienced dudes on the entire show, got him out of there. It was a really, really fun fight. And then the next fight, I don't remember who it was against either, man, but he basically just dismantled him in like 30 seconds or something like that. Got in there, got the choke, done. Easy. Call it a day. What's up? I'm in the final. I'm 22 years old. I'm ready to rock. The big problem that I do see here, though, is that there is a clear experience advantage for Ricky Turcios. The man is 10-2. He's a former Fury FC bantamweight champion, AJ, and I don't know if you know about Fury FC, but that is a Texas promotion. Texas has one of the best regional scenes in the entire United States of America in terms of mixed martial arts. And yeah, he's just had a higher strength of schedule, man. Multiple regional champs, and he's fought some UFC fighters. So Boston Salmon is who he fought on Dana White Contender Series, which was very impressive. You know what I'm saying? He lost the fight, but that's very impressive against a dude like Salmon, because Salmon's gotten a run against some actual names over there in the UFC. And yeah, man. So there's that for that. Ultimately, for Brady Hiestand, man, he's a former regional title challenger, so he's fought for a title, but he has lost that fight before from a vacant championship. 5-1 as an amateur, 12 total fights, man. So I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how this fight goes, man, because I don't think there's going to be a loser either way. I think both of these dudes could belong in the UFC. However, if Turcios were to get the win, I think they would probably send Hiestand back to the Dana White Contender Series and try to, you're 22 years old, you know what I'm saying? Give him a couple more years to develop and grow as a fighter, because Turcios is 28. Like, he's a grown man, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that plays into a factor, though, the age difference? Because truly, you don't finish developing, you know what I mean, until your mid-20s in terms of like your physicality and stuff like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it matters, especially mentally. You know, when the door shuts and you're in deep water, really dragging it out. I think that's where Ricky Turcios really starts to shine, man. He's been in those matches before, and he's a wild man, bro. So you can't really ever count him out for that. Whereas we haven't seen Hiestand get into one of those matches yet, or at least on the show, I wasn't able to watch it because he did really, really well, and he's very calm and composed. But when that starts to go away and you're in the third round getting punched in the middle of the cage and you can't, everything you do isn't affecting the guy because he's still standing there screaming weird shit at you. That's when the mental aspect starts to play. And you said it correctly, man. Ricky Turcios brings that mental warfare to the table. And I don't know if Brady Hiestand is ready for it, although Brady is a lot more composed. So he's more the classical fighter you would want to coach everyone to be, you know, calm, thinking things through, able to make decisions on the fly and read your opponent instead of just swinging and banging for the fences. Yeah, I do think the age thing comes into play. Although I definitely think they both, if Brady wins, I agree with you, Derek. If Brady wins, both of these dudes are getting a UFC contract. If Ricky wins, they might send Brady back to the Dana White Contender Series, but give him a year or two and he'll be right back for this one.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I just have to recite my favorite quote from Turcios on the show, where he's just staring into the camera when it's the tough interview type stuff. And he's like, this is the art of war. This is what we must do. There's a difference between I want to go and do this, I want to be a winner, versus no, I must. This is what I must do. This is the art of the war. This is the art of war. I am a martial artist. You know what I mean? Like, he approaches it differently. It's a lifestyle for him as opposed to a hobby or a practice. That's what puts it over the top for me. That's why I got Pretty Ricky Turcios, Hadouken, hitting the Hadouken at the end of the fight, because I think he gets the job done. But I do think it'll be very tough. Unanimous decision win for Ricky Turcios. Who do you have and why, AJ?
Man, this one is gonna, like I said, gonna be an absolute dog fight. I just thought Brady Hiestand was a little more technical going forward, and if this doesn't turn into some crazy scrap where we're seeing it at the end of round 3 and it gets cut off early, I think Hiestand's gonna be the one winning this fight. I got Brady Hiestand with a KO. Round 2, we're gonna put some work in. He might not be able to finish Ricky Turcios, but I do think he's gonna be able to, and it's gonna be a fun fight either way. Like I said, this one's gonna be a dog fight going forward, man.
Absolutely, and if he does get the KO win over Turcios, it'll be the second time Turcios has been knocked out in his career, and it'll be only his third loss, man. So it should be a banger, man. That is your bantamweight tough finale, right?